Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a movie my wife picked out that she had seen on advertised on Google, or she was looking for sports romance movies or something. She came across this one that's based on a book as well. I assume it's kind of the kind of thing she likes to read, sports romance in general, that kind of thing. This is called Perfect Addiction. It came out this year in 2023. I don't know when. It's almost 2 hours long. It's about an hour and 50 in total. And it is a sports romance, as I said, but kind of a different spin on that. You don't just have a football movie or the basketball movie or whatever the hell we're talking about usually when we talk about sports romances. No, this is about a young lady who is a boxer trainer at a small, kind of falling apart gym with a guy that I thought was Frank Grillo, and it's absolutely not Frank Grillo. Anyway, she has a guy that she fell in love with named Jax that she was training. And that guy is a piece of shit. He just ditches out on the gym to go fight his first real underground cage fighting match. And this gym does not support that kind of thing, but he did it on his own. He didn't ask for their permission. He just kind of ditched out on them. And then on top of that, he cheated on our main character girl with her sister. And they had to break up and everything. And eventually, she's looking for a new place to live after she leaves that guy, and rightfully so. And while she's looking for a place to live, one of her really good friends from school, college, whatever, tells her about this other guy that may be renting a room for $250 a month or something like that. And he's played by Ross Butler, who was in 13 Reasons Why. He's the big buff Asian dude on there and on Shazam. This dude's awesome. I really like Ross Butler. I wish him well, man. Really good actor for what he does in the projects he works on. I really hope he gets more work, man. He is probably one of the best parts of this movie, frankly. But anyway, so she meets him, and they kind of have a rocky relationship at first, and then it really actually turns into kind of a rocky relationship with Burgess Meredith, where she basically tries to train this guy to be the new champ of this gym. So there's this rocky element, and then there's the cage fighting element, the UFC element that I really, really enjoy about it. This is not an amazing movie. Let me tell you that first and foremost. But I do want to give props to so many aspects of this film that, my wife and I both enjoyed this, but there are things about this that I loved and appreciated so much more than my wife didn't pick up on, that are things that she doesn't pay attention to with movies, or things that she might not be even knowledgeable about yet with movies, because she's not a big movie fan. This movie impressed me so much for what it was, for the kind of smaller budget that it had. I want to see if on IMDb they happen to have the actual budget listed, because it could not have been much. But it does not look like a cheap movie at all. This was a fantastic directed film. It looks like they don't have the budget listed, which is a shame. But anyway, it's clearly a lower budget project. Maybe I couldn't see it being more than $15 million, maybe 10, which is not small budget back in the day, but it is now. This cage fighting film does not focus so much on the cage fighting as much as the training montage stuff, and kind of the relationship stuff too, between this main chick and Ross Butler from 13 Reasons Why. It's got the revenge element to it, of this chick wanting to get back at her ex-boyfriend, but it's not played up for humor at all. There's not really much humor in the film. It's kind of a serious drama, family drama. Her sister was her best friend, so there's a lot of that played into this movie and her emotions into it. There are some things I do want to kind of nitpick about. I don't think the movie has a great, satisfying ending, but it does have elements to it that I think are really satisfying. Let me say this. This actress, I gotta say her name, dude, because she is phenomenal here. Oh God, where is she? She's so far down on the list. Kana Madeira, I think is how you say her name. She plays the main character, Sienna. She is phenomenal. Where did this chick come from? Why have I not seen her in more stuff? One of the biggest things that I picked up on this movie that I thought was a massively wonderful thing that they did. This woman clearly either already did kickboxing or something in real life. It's a sport to get in shape or whatever. She either already did that or she learned it like a pro to do for this movie, because there's one thing to be in shape, right? You see Brie Larson on the new Marvels movie. Despite what you think about the film, she's in phenomenal shape, like Sarah Connor from T2 shape, right? You can appreciate that quite a bit with her in the whatever role she's taking up, right? This chick is on a whole new level. Her build, her kind of fitness that she's in for this movie, I don't know if she got in shape for this movie or if it was again, I'm convinced that she was a kickboxer or something before this, kind of like the chick from Terrifier 2 was. But she is in phenomenal shape. And it's not just that she's hot, she genuinely can act. So it always comes to this duality of movies. Do you find somebody who's a really good kickboxer in real life, who knows this stuff, who's in massively wonderful shape, that also can act, which is usually not the case, or can you find somebody who is a good actress who just doesn't fit that role in physicality for what they need to be a convincing trainer for a movie like this? This chick is wonderful. Her performance was amazing. When she needed to show emotion, she was really great there. The script kind of lets her down sometimes, because the script loves to use voiceover work all of the time. Show don't tell. That is the first lesson of a script. That's probably a post-production thing where they decided to do all this VA stuff. But the voice acting stuff, the voiceover work, should not have been in this movie, period. It makes it feel cheaper than it actually is, and probably cheaper than it was. It makes it feel like an amateur movie when it's really not. This clearly has talent behind it. The directing, the writing, for the most part, aside from the crappy voiceover stuff that was included on this, probably in post, like I said. This is phenomenal for what it is, for the budget it had, what it needed to be, even though it has some weak spots in there. I also think that the script betrays this main character at times, and the script almost by the end of it tries to make her out to be a selfish person. I think everything this chick does in this movie is motivated by her love for whoever she's with. For example, the first guy she's with that cheats on her with her sister, versus later on when she meets Ross Butler and begins to love him and wants to make him the best of the best of the best. I'm very impressed. I don't read this kind of shit. I don't even watch this kind of movie very often. There's one cage fighting film off the top of my head, actually two, that I love deeply, and that's Never Back Down from back in like 2007, and Warrior, starring Tom Hardy. Aside from those two films, you don't see many good, or really any, cage fighting movies very often, which is surprising with how popular UFC is to this day. But this movie, dude, really surprised me for what it was, the kind of character drama stuff, if you don't mind that kind of thing. This had so much to offer. It has solid performances from pretty much everybody in the movie. There's maybe one character in here that I think is a little, whatever. Particularly the sister in the movie. But aside from the weak spots in the writing, I think it's a really solid flick, and I'm actually very impressed with it. Again, I don't want to seem like I'm overhyping it. I'm not trying to do that. But when you go into something like this and you're so immensely surprised by what you actually got, when you expected a shitty Hallmark movie or a shittier Lifetime movie, I was immensely impressed. I didn't know this was based on a book. My wife didn't know that. So going into this, we knew nothing about it, and we were very surprised by how good it was. Even down to the damn lighting in the film, with a lot of pinks and blues. The sets where they shot at for like the gymnasium and stuff, they look convincing. They look run down. They look very urban, very Michigan-like. I don't know where the movie takes place. I don't think it was Michigan, but you know my point. This was shocking for the kind of budget they had, and I'm surprised this didn't have a wider release in theaters, probably because of the budget, I don't know, but this deserved more attention. If you haven't seen Perfect Addiction, I really think you're missing out on it. I would say another weak spot with this movie too is probably the music. The music is a lot of kind of like cheaper, probably non-royalty having to be paid type of music, but there's a couple of songs in here that actually really fit the moment and really make the moment even more iconic. Which was cool. I appreciate that quite a bit. But at the end of the day, Perfect Addiction, it's a solid watch, man. If you happen to have a wife or a girlfriend who's into this kind of thing, this is probably going to be something that would appeal to them. But again, if you just happen to be a movie buff and you love things kind of like Rocky or sports movies in general, this is not too shabby. This is not too shabby, and I totally recommend it to you guys out there who like this kind of thing too. I'm not really into that audience usually. I'm more of a horror guy, or like I guess like a sci-fi as far as Star Wars type of guy, or like Goosebumps type of guy, but as far as it comes to this type of movie, I was impressed. I'm going to be honest with you. I was not expecting much, and I was impressed, as I've said over and over again. If I had to rate Perfect Addiction on a 5-star basis, I'd probably give it about a 3 out of 5 stars. I was going to lean more towards a 4, but I do think the ending is a little too, I don't know what I would say. It doesn't land the way it needs to, in my personal opinion. It kind of has another like 10 minutes of the movie that doesn't need to happen, you know? I feel like that extra 10 minutes on the end of the movie kind of just draws it out a little too much, but aside from that, check it out. This was not too shabby, like I said. 3 out of 5 stars, but a high 3 out of 5 nonetheless. Very impressive little flick for what they had to do here, what they accomplished with it. And then again, even to the performances. This main chick needs to go more places. She was fantastic in here for what she had to do. And again, finding somebody who is this in shape, who clearly has experience, I'm assuming, in kickboxing or cage fighting, whatever, and was so great in her performance, that's a rarity, man. I don't think Hollywood or anybody realizes how much went into this movie. And again, my wife didn't even pick up on that until we finished the movie and we started talking about it, and I told her about that part of this. But anyway, Perfect Addiction. Have you seen it? What do you think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about it down in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, guys. God bless you all. Happy Thanksgiving, and goodbye.